To European news now, because the head of Europe's law enforcement agencies warned of the growing risk of international criminal groups using cyber attacks to traffic drugs. It follows an IT attack on the port of Antwerp in which hackers breached the system that controls container movements in an attempt to transport hundreds of kilos of cocaine and heroin. Tom Bateman reports.
This is one of the world's busiest container ports. 15,000 ships pass through Antwerp every year. It is a major European hub for cargo. But like many other ports, Antwerp faces a constant threat from traffickers who attempt to hide drugs among legitimate goods in containers.
Well, this part of the port deals with 10,000 containers every day. It's controlled by a vast IT system that tells the crane drivers where to move the containers to. Now, earlier this year, that IT system was hacked into and some crucial details changed, meaning that specific containers loaded with drugs could be moved from here with no security checks.
The traffickers are alleged to have hidden hundreds of kilos of drugs in legitimate containers shipped to Antwerp from South America. The breach of the port's computer systems began remotely using malicious emails and then became more audacious.
This is installed on a computer and it logs all the keystrokes.
The hackers breached the IT system controlling container movements in the port. They accessed vast quantities of data, including the security codes and location of cargo, and were then able to steal entire containers that the drugs had been stashed into.
They started breaking into the companies and installing hardware and linked that hardware to the servers from the companies. This hardware allowed them from distance to log in to the servers from the companies.
After the plot was discovered, police seized a record amount of heroin like this haul from a previous container raid, as well as £130 million worth of pure cocaine. A number of suspects were held and officers seized a machine gun and silencer, bulletproof vests and more than €1 million in cash. 15 people are currently awaiting trial. Last week, police from a number of countries met at the headquarters of Europe's crime-fighting agency to discuss the cyber attack, a first of its kind, they say, which threatens to become a more prominent feature of drug trafficking.
We have effectively a service-oriented industry where indeed organised crime groups are paying for specialist hacking skills that they can acquire online and taking away that skill therefore to go off and do their everyday business.
The authorities in Antwerp say they've strengthened security at the port. The focus for the police will now be on the combined threat of drug trafficking and cybercrime. Tom Bateman, BBC News.
That'd be worthy of a novel if it wasn't actually fact. It's quite a good story.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Because we're going to the Man Booker Prize.
Thank you.
That's good. Because that prize for fiction...
Patronising me by any chance?
A bit. The prize for fiction has gone to its youngest ever recipient.